Hey y'all, how are you doing on this beautiful Monday? So today we're going to do something just a little bit different. I am going to give the word this afternoon. Forgive me, y'all. I had something that came up this morning, and I was not able to post and say, "Hey, I had something come up this morning," so we couldn't release the morning session. But this is going to make up for the morning session. So good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Please do me a favor and like this video, subscribe if you have not, hit that notifications bell or ringer so that when I upload a new video, you will know. Okay, and so welcome on in to today's session. This is still going to be a transformation session. And I want y'all to let me know, do y'all like for me to come on in the afternoons versus coming on in the morning? Let me know because I want to be sure that I am reaching those that God has called me to in the most effective way. So let me know if if you like the evenings better or you want me to stick to the mornings. So that I can help y'all in the most effective way. Okay. So if you guys don't know me, before we get started, I'm not the most important person here. Of course, Jesus Christ is. But if you don't know me, I am a life coach or a self-development coach, whichever one. Both are really almost synonymous. They are very close in correlation. But for the self-development, I help ladies, I help women of faith to who are called into like leadership roles. You're called into positions of power and leadership. You might not have stepped fully into it. Some of you may have stepped into it, but you need more guidance. I'm called to both. Those of you who know, like, hey, I am a leader, but I need more help. I need more assistance in really moving forward. I feel stuck. I have gotten only so far. So I'm called to you, but I'm also called to those of you who don't even know where to begin. Okay, so both of you guys are my favorites. Y'all are both equally my girls. I am here to help you to uncover your potential, unlock your greatness, and step into your purpose and to fulfill everything that God has called you to fulfill. So if that's you, welcome to this channel. Welcome to this morning session. Y'all, I'm so used to doing the transformation mornings, but welcome to this transformation session. We also go over beauty content on this channel. We are also about prayer. I'm a prayer warrior, intercessor, midwife. I help women of faith to birth out their destinies. And I also help push men to birth out what God has given them as well. But I know that I have a special calling for women. I am married, so we deal with relationships. I'm a generational curse breaker, so we talk about everything when it comes to breaking curses. All of that good stuff is on this channel and then some. So you want to stay tuned to what the Lord is doing. I want to thank each and every one of y'all each and every week for tuning in. And as you can see today in the as you saw today in the title, y'all, I'm sorry. It's like a little, let's get to it. As you saw today in today's title, we'll be talking about there's something that you do good. Okay. There is something that you do so good that you could be giving to somebody right now. There is something that the Lord has placed on the inside of you that you could literally be giving to somebody and showing up and serving people literally right now where you are. A lot of times we allow fear, we allow doubt, we allow inadequacy, we allow lack of confidence in what God has called us to because we don't feel equipped. But when I tell you, God will never call you to something that He does not give you the tools to do. He does not work that way. The Lord does not just place gifts in us and talents and anointing and the ability to do things with grace in us. He does not place that on the inside of us without giving us the proper things that we need to be able to walk that out into the earth. Okay. So we do not serve a God that does that. And so I want to ask you this question. What is it that's on the inside of you that you know that God has placed there, that now is the time for you to actually rise and to do that thing? What is that thing that you know that God has placed on the inside of you? Is it do you know how to help? Do you know how to bake well? That's a ministry. Do you know how to do things in such a manner that like writing a book, it, because that's a ministry, and not just writing a book, but doing things that'll bless people, and help them to overcome challenges. You can have a challenge in the area of people not understanding how to put their makeup on right. That's a challenge. Anywhere that people have a need, that is a place where you will be able to show up in that area and give people what they need. Okay, you are called to a specific people, and God has placed something on the inside of you to give. Whether the enemy lies to you or not and tell you that you don't have that thing, that's far from the truth. The devil is a liar. You have something to give to people. Now you might say, well, I tried to give it and it didn't work. Did you try it in God's timing? Okay, because timing is everything. So did God tell you to start? And for most of you, this is your time to step forward into your purpose. It's time for you to birth forth what God has given you. I'm talking to those of you who know that it's your time. I'm not talking to those who they still plan and they haven't even surrendered to God, and they haven't even, they don't even want to deal with God, but they say that they, are a Christian. I'm not talking to those. I'm talking to those of you who it's your time. You have maybe been in a balance, maybe waiting for the right time. You've maybe been in a place where you felt like life was crushing you and you didn't understand why life was crushing you. You might have been in a place or a season where you felt like everything was happening, but nothing was truly giving you a fulfillment. Or you might be in a place where you feel like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. Well, if you are in that place, but you are yet still serving God and you are just waiting for God to give you the next move, or you are waiting for God to shift you, to position you, to get you where you need to be, then this message is for you, because I'm called to help birth out, but you got to be in position to give birth. And the only way that you're going to give birth is when God's timing matches the hour that you're supposed to walk in that thing. Come on, it got to be God's Kairos time. If God's Kairos time is not there, then no matter how you try to push, it will not come forth. No matter how many times you try to birth something, it won't work in that season. Why? Because God's Kairos time has not met that thing yet. God has not called you to come forth yet. There's not a time, there's not a season or a place for it in the earth just yet. And so when you see, I'm not going to say that even when you step into your purpose, there's not going to be a certain level of resistance, because it will be. But when you're not seeing anything move, when nothing's moving, when everything seems to be on standstill or stagnant, come on, that is how like, wait a minute, God is doing something else. Wait a minute, this is not working. Something needs to work. Something needs to break. When you see that, that is God's sign to you to tell you, hey, I actually wanted you to do something else in this season. You might be misaligned. You might be not aligned completely. And so sometimes you feel delay when there is not a complete alignment. But for those of you who know, like, I got something to give. My time is now, and I'm going to do whatever the Lord has given me in my hands to do. I may not know how to start. That's where I come in. I may not know what to do. That's where a coach can come in and help you and guide you and give you the strategies. You can book a purpose strategy session with me by going to my website at girlpluskingdomtv.org. If this is you and you know that you are ready to take your life from where it is, you might feel like you are stuck. You might feel like you don't know where to go from here. You might have an idea or a clue that God is calling you to something, but you might not know how to really get that something out into the earth. So this is going to be your chance and opportunity to work with me. And in the purpose strategy session, I am going to literally help you to get in position so that you can get the strategies you need and move forward into your next. Okay, so that you can get from being unstuck to moving forward into your purpose, to getting in alignment. Maybe there's some misalignments or some things that is not in proper alignment, and you might need the strategies to fill those missing pieces so that you can move forward. So that coaching session is going to help you to do that. And right now, if you go right now, We have that coaching session available for you. It is literally going to shift your life and help you to birth forth into what God is calling you to. So anyway, you have that one thing that you are great at. You have one thing that you are so good at that people call on you for it. People request you for it. And it's time for you to finally get paid for what you have been giving forth for free. Okay. It's time out for free 99. It's time out for just doing stuff and not really walking in the fullness of what God has called you to. You have suffered for what God has given you. You have sold for what God has given you. You have done things. You have had sleepless nights. You've cried yourself to sleep. And now it's time for you to get paid for all the times you had to cry, for all the things that, you thought you would never get relief from because it came and it brought you so much agony. God wants you to turn that into a course, to turn that into a book, to turn that into something that will give you back what you lost. Come on, God is a God of restoration. And now is the time for you to be restored. But you're going to show up online and or wherever in your community or in wherever God is sending you to, because everybody God is not sending for them to be online. So wherever God is sending you to, you're going to show up and you're going to show us or whoever you're called to in such a great magnitude that God has put something in you and it's time for you to birth it forth. God does not call the qualified. God qualifies those he called. And so we have to know that even if it feels like you ain't got nothing to you, like there's nothing to, there's nothing to you, or nobody's gonna want what you have. I want you to challenge those limited belief systems. And I want you to trust God. Trust God. Trust what he put in you. Trust what you know about God. Trust that you know that God is not a God that he will lie. And trust that God is not a God that will create anything without a purpose. And if God created things, everything that is under this earth, under the sun, in the heavens, and all the above, anything that you know about God, he created it on purpose and with a purpose and an intent in mind. Even the enemy has a purpose. And so if the devil has a purpose, you mean to tell me that you don't have a purpose? Yeah, you got a purpose. You just have to slow down and take time out to talk to your father and seek the face of God for what it is that he has for you. God said, I know the plans that I think towards you, thoughts of success and not failure, to give you a hope and a future. And so what is that one thing that you do well that you know people will pay you for it if you put a price tag to it? Because when you show up, you do it so well. When you show up, you give it your all. When you show up, it's 100% excellent. When you show up, you can do it without even people paying you for it. Some of y'all can do this stuff that you're doing without people even paying you for it. Some of you all can do these things so well, people don't even have to. You've been doing it so well over the course of these years that people haven't even been paying you, but you've still been doing it faithfully. You still been giving. Well, now it's the time for you to put a price tag behind that. Now it's the time for you to create that book, to create that course, to show up and to give people something so that they can begin to be better. Come on, what you have, your gifts are not for you. Your gifts are literally designed for other people. Your gifts are literally designed to help other people to come out of situations that they are in. Your gifts are designed to serve others. They are not made for you. God placed them in you, but he meant for you to give your gifts out to others. And so you have something that you are absolutely 100% great at. Like, for instance, in my situation, I am really great at writing stories and books. And so people have even come to me and say, hey, I've really published books before, my own books. And people have come to me and say, hey, can you help me with my book? I want to write my book. People did that. People came to me and asked me to help them. So most likely things that you or God is calling you to do, people are already requesting for you to do it. First of all, everything that you give birth to, even if you feel like it's not, because you don't start at the mountaintop. Your gifts do not start being birthed out in full manifestation when you start out. No, you grow into the gift. Your gift grows with you. Okay. And so as time go on and as you use your gifts increase and you grow into the gifts. And so This will help those of you who feel stuck in that area of just getting it done and starting already. Because a lot of times we allow what we don't know and familiar things, and we allow inadequacies that we feel about ourselves to cause us to not start. But this is no excuse. God wants to use you, and he wants you to start. Okay, you're not going to be at level 20 when you just starting out at level 1. Okay, but God, we're more concerned with those things. God is just like, I just need you to obey me, because somebody needs what you have in every season of your life, even the hardest seasons, even the tough seasons, even the seasons where you feel like nobody's calling for your name. People still need what you have, even in those seasons. So you still ought to have you still should be showing up serving, and you still have something to give even in those low times and moments. It's only the trick of the devil to come in and tell you, you can't use that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you still got issues, you still got problems, you still got circumstances. Let me tell you something. Everybody got problems, everybody got issues, and everybody has circumstances. And so if you use that as an excuse not to show up, if you use that to if you let the devil use that to keep you in a place where you are not moving in your purpose, then you're going to allow yourself to not only be stagnant, but those that you are called to help in this season of your life, you're going to also cripple them, because it's people that need what you have on the inside of you. But if you allow the enemy to lie to you and tell you you're nothing, if you listen to those lies and those chatters tell you that you'll never amount to anything, then when it's time for you to birth forth, you won't have the strength to birth, and you will continue to keep that baby on the inside of you. And now it's either going to be a stillborn, or it's going to be a birth in the birthing time for that thing will be delayed. But even in that, God can still use that, and he can still turn that situation around, because God brings dead things to life. Come on, I said God brings dead things to life. And so when we love God and when we are in God, God said, for I know the plans that I think towards you, plans of success and not failure, to give you a hope and a future. And then he said, all things work together for the good of them who love me, and to those who are called according to my purpose. So when you are called according to God's purpose, God said all things work together for the good of them. So even when you have dead dreams, God is able to resurrect those dead dreams. Even when you feel like your purpose is on the shelf, God still has and it's not. And when you feel like your purpose is not moving anywhere, God still has the power to come in and dust the dust off of that dream, because God did not make anything in this earth to just stand still. Everything that God created, he created with movement. Everything that God created, he created it to have a level of movement to it. And you are not supposed to be stuck. You are not supposed to be stagnant. You are not supposed to be sitting and doing nothing at all. God didn't build you for that. God built you with a tailor-made plan, with a tailor-made a purpose that he placed on the inside of you. And so again, you have something to give. I don't know what that thing is that God has placed inside of you, but I came here today as a midwife to tell you it's time for you to push. It's time for you to come forth. It's time. If you ain't heard it nowhere else, hear it from Josie, that it's time for you to finally push that dream out, push that baby out, push out the thing that God has placed on the inside of you. It's time for your dreams to come alive. It's time for you. Some of y'all are 9 months pregnant. You are right there. And God is saying it's time for you to assume the position and push. But in order for you to do it, there are prerequisites before you give birth. You have to make sure that you're in alignment with God. That means that you need to be praying and you need to be seeking the face of God for what he needs you to push, what he needs you to do. That means that you need to already know what God has called you to. So when you push, you're not pushing aimlessly and getting tired because you're pushing wrong. Pushing wrong, to push wrong might look like you're trying to do one thing when God is calling you to do something else. You don't want to push wrong. You want to be in the right position and in alignment. So when you give birth, your process to giving birth will not be strenuous. You don't want to have a strenuous labor. You, even though labor is hard, but you don't want to have a strenuous labor because you're pushing wrong or because you're trying to push one thing, but God is telling you to actually give birth to something different. You got to be in prayer. You got to be in alignment with the Father. You got to be able to hear his voice and know when God is telling you to go left or when he's telling you to go right. Is he telling you to birth the book or is he telling you to birth the podcast? Is he telling you right now to birth the ministry? Is he telling you right now to start the 401c3? Is he telling the nonprofit organization? Is he telling you right now to go forth and create a women's ministry? What is God telling you to do? Is he telling you to start investing right now? Did he want you to just invest right now? That's also giving birth, because when you invest, that is also tedious, because when whatever you getting ready to invest in, now you're getting the proper things you need to nourish what you were getting ready to do. And it's all still a part of the birthing process. But God wants us to be in position, and he wants us to be in alignment so that we're not pushing strenuously, and so that when we're giving birth to the thing that he's called us to. And then also, you have to make sure that there is no doubters in the room when you're giving birth. That is just you and God, because nobody else. God didn't give this destiny to nobody else. God gave this purpose to you. He placed that baby in you, or babies, because some of you giving birth to twins. Some of you are getting ready to give birth to $1,000,000 ideas. But God, he don't need nobody in the room when it's time for you to give birth. So you know what you got to do? You got to be quiet about what you're getting ready to do, because you're going to have doubters. You're going to have haters. You're going to have spectators. You're going to have monitoring spirits trying to monitor your progress. You're going to have people that can't hear what God has told you, and they're going to be negative. They can be negative Nancy's and like flies that's just buzzing around your head. Why? Because of the fact that they were sent to try to deter you and get you to come down from what God told you to build. This is why it's important to talk about it after the work is finished. This is why it's so important for us to be quiet even when we're tempted to speak, because when you are in the birthing room, you don't need no contaminated hands contaminating your process or contaminating your baby. Your baby is at its most fragile point when it is birthed, and so now you have to nourish that baby when it's birth. But when you're in the pushing phase of giving birth to something, that is the very most critical part, because you and the baby are at risk. And so you at risk. And so you have to learn how to just be content with people not knowing what you are getting ready to give birth to. You have to be content with people not understanding what you are doing. It's just me and God. And because it's just me and God in this birthing room, I gotta close everything out, because I need to hear clear instructions for what God is giving me to do. I gotta close you out, doubters. I gotta close you out. Every negative Nancy gotta be shut out. You ain't allowed into this birthing room. Every person that I know might not believe in God, their God dreams, I don't need to have them in the room with me when I'm getting ready to give birth to what God told me to do. When I'm getting ready to give birth to what God has told me to do, I don't need people who barely believe God in their own personal life. I don't need you to come in and cram it up, trying to cram my dreams up. I don't need you connected to me while I'm getting ready to give birth to what God has placed on the inside of me. I need people in the room who believe God. I need people in the room who can trust that even my dead dreams can come to life. I need midwives. I need purpose, people who know, if you're going to be in the room, come on, if you're going to help me to push this thing out, then I need the people that's going to help me to push it out. If God assigned them, I need them to be the ones that can encourage me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I need people in the room who birthed out their own vision. I need people in the room who's not stagnant in their own purpose. I need people in the room who's visionaries their own selves, and they have the power and the faith to help me to birth forth what God has given me to do. So I'm telling you this because a lot of times we don't understand why things are not moving. We don't understand why things stop, or we don't understand that when we was right there, the baby was crowning. Come on, we don't understand why the baby didn't just come on out. Well, sometimes it's what you have in the room. It's the people. It's your environment that you're giving birth into. But I want to tell you something, that even when you are giving birth around crazy situations, that God still has the ability to be the one that'll catch your baby. Come on, then he'll help you nourish it. He'll help because he gave you the idea, he gave you the dream. And the same God that gave you the idea and gave you the dream is the same God who's going to help you push. He's the same God that'll help you when it's time for you to eat. He'll give you what to do to even nourish the baby as it's going through its as it's coming, into the world. And then now you got to feed the baby and give it what it needs to continue to flourish and be nourished and grow and blossom into a toddler and a adolescent and then a teenager and a young adult and all. You know what I'm saying? God, there are stages to birth, and God, he's still God and faithful even when you are going through those stages. So that's why we have to stay connected to God, so that as we are giving birth to what God has called us to give birth to, that we will not birth out stillbirths, or we will not have a misalignment in our birthing process. So we have to listen to the Lord. So anyway, you have something on the inside of you, and now it's time for you to finally bring that thing forth. Now it's finally time for you to take your dreams off the shelf, to take your destiny off the shelf, to also, if you feel like your dreams have died, maybe you birthed it in the wrong season. Maybe what you tried to do, you birthed the Ishmael. You birthed something that God didn't tell you to birth, right? It was the promise, but it was the wrong promise. Come on. It was the promise. You birthed something that looked like the promise, but God wants you to birth something that is the promise. And so we have to get in alignment and in position for that, so that we are not just birthing any and everything. Yeah, God wants you to birth that book. Yeah, God, but you got to do it in his timing. You got to be in alignment. You got to birth the dream that God has told you to do. You shouldn't be doing everything just because it looked popular. You shouldn't be doing everything just because it looked like this is the thing to do. This is what's it. No, God has tailor-made a plan on the inside of you. Okay, and now it's time for you to walk forward in that tailor-made plan. So let's focus. Let us focus on the race that God has given us, right? And putting aside everything that could cause us to be hindered on that race, whether that's doubt, whether that's worrying and stressing about it, whether that's not believing God, whether that's insecurities, whether that's fear, whether that's, feeling like a failure, feeling like you can't do it. All those feelings, that they come, but they are just feelings. Those things, they come, but they are just things. Because when God gives you something, he already knew you was the one for the job. He already knew that you had what it took on the inside of you to fulfill that. Why would God give, come on, we talking about a big God. So hear me. Why would God give you this big, great God? Why would he give you a dream and not think that you had what it took? When I tell you, you have everything that it takes on the inside of you to accomplish what you are trying to do, to fulfill the assignment that is on your life. Now, there is a process you go through. There is a process of pruning. There's a process of becoming. There's a process that one goes through to be able to fit the suit of their destiny. Come on, to be able to wear their destiny, to be able to walk into their destiny, to be able to fulfill your destiny. There is a process that one goes through when it comes to fulfilling purpose. You have to be made so that you can be fit for what God is doing in you and through you, so that when you show up, you are effective, you are power, you are filled with the power of the Holy Spirit, and you are fueled in what you are doing. So yes, there is a process, but at the same time, you've been processed, and I'm calling you forward. I'm calling you out of your cave. I'm telling you what God is telling you to do. Come out of your cave. Come out of that place where you feel stuck. You're not stuck. You might need information. You might have barriers that have tried to block you, but you yourself are not stuck. There's something in the way, but it's not the fact that you are stuck. You're not stuck. God makes everything that flows. He makes things that work. He makes things like well-oiled machines. You are like God's well-oiled machine. You are not stuck. You cried for this. Your oil was built for all the tears you had to cry and that pain you went through. In all those years where you suffered, that was oil being produced in your life. Come on. And so you are not stuck. You are not stagnant. The Lord, your God, will carry you. The Lord, your God, will help you. And the Lord, your God, will be with you as you birth forth your purpose. You will not birth alone. And you are not stuck. God is waiting for you. God is waiting for you to get in alignment. And he's waiting for you to finally accept what he's telling you to do. Some of you all need so much convincing that it's hard for God to get anything to you because you're not ready. You need so much convincing that this is what it is. But you are a born leader. God built you for this. And you were created to do great exploits. You were created to do mighty things. You were created to super exceed every negativity, every barrier. You were built to actually burst through the barriers. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You were actually created to burst through the barriers. God created you with all the things you need to burst through the barriers. So I love you. Get you that one thing. Your homework assignment is to go and seek the face of the Lord for that thing that he's told you to do, that thing that, oh, I'm sorry, y'all, that thing that he told you to do, that thing that you know that you can do so well that you can offer to somebody else, that one thing that you know you do so well that you can give this and serve this to somebody else, and you can put a price tag upon it, because gone are the days where we are not resourceful with our resources, and gone are the days where we are charging zero for the things that we have suffered for, bled for. And just because you feel like nobody's going to pay for it does not mean that there are not people that are waiting to give or to sow into what you have. So with that being said, I love y'all. I pray that you all enjoyed this transformation session. Yes, it was late, but I pray you guys enjoyed this transformation session. I pray that you guys got something from this. Please share this and like this. You're helping the videos to be pushed through. I pray that, again, you guys got something from this. I love y'all. And as always, remember to just do what God has told you to do. If you want to support, then you can go to Girl Plus Kingdom TV. I have resources there on my channel. The resource for those of you who feel like you're in this place of stuck, I recommend the Purpose Strategy session. You can book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. We're going to talk about what you need to do and help you to get an alignment for where you're going. Help you to get an alignment for where you're going so that you can step into your destiny, get your purpose off the shelf, awaken those dead dreams. I will help you to do that. If you need self-development help and you need help with, developing inwardly, you need to heal. You might need to walk through some things, like overcoming your inner critic or overcoming unbelief about yourself. You might need to start your self-love journey. You might need to know, what steps to take to heal the little girl in you. You might need that. And it's no offense. It's just, we're all needing something. Okay. And so if that's you, you can book a session with me for that. And the 30 Days to Purpose is a good book for you as well, because that book is going to help position you so that you can begin to get in alignment with your God purpose. This book is going to be a book that is going to help you to transform your life and start that process of transformation. If you need that, if you need to start there. And if you want to shift your life, get that book. If you want to shift your life and step into your destiny, get that book. If you want to transform your life, get that book. You want to be in alignment with God, get that book. If you know that you have you if you know that you want to start a brand new life, you tired of being where you are and you want to transition fully into what God has for you, get that book. Now, I want to say that for some of you, you need ongoing coaching. Like, you can't get coaching one time. You need ongoing coaching. You need ongoing, you need somebody to coach you for the long haul. So if that's you, still do the free 30-minute consultation so we can get a plan for you. So we can get a plan going for you. So with that being said, I love y'all. I'm praying for you that the Lord will help you to get up, Dust yourself off, step into your purpose, and get that thing that you were so good at that people will pay you for, because now is the time for you to step into that. If you have a story, in the words of Shamika Dean, y'all can go look up on YouTube. She's a powerful woman of God and a very good businesswoman, kingdom businesswoman. But if you have a story to tell, you have a product to sell. I learned that years ago in business. If you have a story to tell, you have a product to sell. Don't let these religious folks tell you you can't do it. It's time for you to understand that you have something that the world needs, and there's somebody waiting to pull out their pocketbook to pay you for it. If you can solve their problem, people will pay you for it. So if you need that business strategy session, book a free consultation with me. Come on, and we will go over what we can do so that we can know if we're a good fit for you, first of all, and so that we can know if we are properly aligned to work together. Pray about it. But if you have, go ahead and book that free 30-minute consultation. Don't forget to get the free, don't forget to get the 30 Days to Purpose book. That book is for those of you who want to transform your life and step into your purpose. I'm going to show you how to do that in 4 weeks, give you the strategies you need to step in that, and help you to overcome certain barriers and challenges you might face so that you can do that. So get that book. It's going to bless you. It is full of information. I love, love, love when there is a process and a blueprint. It's in that book. The blueprint to purpose is in that book. So you want to get that. And yeah, so I love y'all. God bless you. Check out the free resources. Book with me today, a free 30-minute consultation. And we'll go from there. So I love you. God bless you. And have an amazing rest of y'all day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless you. Lord's will. I'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless you.